Let me start by telling you that being highly intelligent can sometimes feel like a curse or a heavy burden, because most times it feels like your brain won't shut off, like you're cursed to see problems no one else notices, analyze conversations that already ended, and question everything until you're paralyzed. If you think you've heard it all, hang on for a shocker. High intelligence isn't always a gift. Sometimes it's a burden. The struggles of highly intelligent people are real, and they're rarely discussed because society assumes smart equals happy, successful, and fulfilled. But that's not always the case, is it? Here's the irony. The same mind that helps you solve complex problems can also trap you in analysis paralysis, social isolation, and existential dread. But here's the beauty of all these. Clinical psychology, neuroscience, and even ancient Stoic philosophy offer insights into why this happens and what you can do about it. In this video, we'll explore 8 reasons why high intelligence can feel like a curse, and more importantly, how to turn that curse into wisdom. Let's uncover these hidden challenges together, starting with reason number 1, overthink everything. Just be honest with yourself. When was the last time you made a simple decision simply? For a typical high IQ person, merely choosing a restaurant can become a cost-benefit analysis. Sending a text can require drafting 3 versions, and a casual and harmless comment someone made 3 weeks ago can still be dissected at 2 a.m., wondering what they really meant. This is analysis paralysis, and it's one of the most common struggles among highly intelligent people. Your brain is wired to see multiple angles, anticipate outcomes, and spot potential problems. That's great for chess, not so great for living. Neuroscience proves that highly intelligent brains have more active default mode networks, the part of your brain that's always running in the background, making connections, analyzing patterns. Put simply, your brain never fully rests. It's constantly processing, which sounds productive until you realize you've spent 2 hours debating whether to reply "sounds good" or "sounds great" to an email. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This, in essence, means that your overthinking isn't happening to you, it's something your mind is doing, and you can learn to redirect it. Don't move on until you fix this. Set decision deadlines. For small choices, give yourself 60 seconds, because if you look closely, not every decision deserves your full intellectual capacity. Sometimes good enough is actually perfect, and that's only the beginning, because
reason number 2 states that, to highly intelligent people, most conversations feel painfully shallow. Let's say you're at a social gathering, and someone asks what you do. You answer, and they nod. Then the person shifts the topic to the weather, complaints about the traffic, and the recycled observations about how fast the year is going. And you're standing there, internally screaming, craving just one conversation that goes deeper than surface-level pleasantries. That sets the stage. Now, let's talk about what really moves the needle. Intelligent people often struggle socially. That's not because they lack social skills, but because they're operating on a different wavelength. You want to discuss ideas, patterns, possibilities. Most people want to discuss what they had for lunch. This reminds me of a fascinating study by psychologist Kazimierz Dabrowski, whose research on overexcitabilities discovered that highly intelligent individuals often experience intellectual and emotional intensity that others simply don't. What this implies is that while you're fascinated by the philosophical implications of AI, your coworker genuinely just wants to talk about their fantasy football league. Neither is wrong, but the disconnect is real. In the words of Carl Jung, loneliness does not come from having no people around, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself. He implies that you can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone, because the connection you crave isn't about proximity, it's about depth. What you're about to hear could save you years of struggle. Find people with like minds. Join book clubs, philosophy meetups, and online communities centered around topics that fascinate you. Embrace quality over quantity, always. Reason number 3,
You see all the problems, and it's exhausting. To understand this reason, we need to look at the scenario from this perspective. Let's say you walk into a room, and within minutes, you've spotted the inefficiencies, the flawed logic, and all the contradictions no one else seems to notice. And at work, you see the project will fail before it even starts. But when you speak up, you're labeled negative or difficult. In relationships, you anticipate problems months before they surface, but bringing them up makes you seem paranoid or controlling. This is the curse of pattern recognition. Your intelligence doesn't just help you solve problems, it forces you to see them everywhere. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Research in cognitive psychology has it that high intelligence correlates with heightened sensitivity to inconsistencies and errors. Your brain is essentially a very sensitive smoke detector, great for avoiding actual fires, exhausting when it goes off every time someone burns toast. One strategy leads to the other, but only if you get this part right. Accept that you can't fix everything. Seriously, not every problem you spot requires your intervention. Sometimes people need to learn through their own mistakes. Sometimes inefficiency is the price of letting others contribute. Sometimes you need to let things be imperfect. Before you continue, count yourself as an exception for making it this far. Most people scroll away from uncomfortable truths, but for you, you're here. Real change starts with a decision. You've just taken one by watching this far. Now, make it count. Subscribe, like, and share this with someone who needs it, and become a part of a movement toward intentional living. The next one is even more powerful.
Reason number 4. Boredom hits you like a freight train. Another major reason your high intelligence could be a double-edged sword is chronic boredom and a constant need for mental stimulation. Let's make this personal for a second. When you have a mind that's constantly racing, it can be incredibly difficult to find activities or conversations that truly engage and challenge you. The things that captivate most people just feel, well, boring. And that can lead to a deep sense of restlessness and dissatisfaction. Now, pay close attention because this part is critical. Your high intelligence isn't a curse, it's a superpower. The key is learning how to channel that mental energy in a way that keeps you stimulated and fulfilled. That might mean diving deeper into your passions, seeking out intellectually stimulating communities, or even exploring more complex hobbies and creative pursuits. The point is, you have to be proactive about finding ways to keep your mind engaged, because when you do, you'll start to see your curse transform into a true gift, one that allows you to see the world in a way that most people can't. Reason number 5. Always trying to be a perfectionist and setting unrealistic high expectations. Another common challenge for highly intelligent people is crippling perfectionism and setting unrealistically high expectations. When you have a mind that's constantly analyzing, critiquing, and striving for excellence, it can be incredibly difficult to ever feel satisfied with your achievements. No matter how much you accomplish, there's always another goal, another standard to meet. And that can lead to a deep sense of self-doubt, anxiety, and burnout. What if I told you that your high intelligence and smartness aren't a curse, but related to the way your brain processes and analyzes information? In short, they're a rage gift. All you've got to do is learning how to channel that drive for excellence in a way that serves you rather than sabotages you. That might mean setting more realistic, achievable goals, or practicing self-compassion when you inevitably fall short of your own lofty expectations. This one shift can double your focus in just 7 days. It's also important to remember that perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist, and chasing it will only leave you feeling frustrated and unfulfilled. Instead, focus on progress, not perfection. Celebrate your small wins and be kind to yourself when you inevitably stumble, because trust me, my friends, that's the only way to truly harness the power of your high intelligence.
Reason number 6. Intelligent people often struggle with feeling misunderstood and isolated. Another common challenge that highly intelligent people face is often feeling deeply misunderstood and isolated, even in a room full of people. This is one of the loneliest aspects of high intelligence. Constantly translating your thoughts into simpler language
watching the richness evaporate in translation and wondering if anyone will ever truly get you. Here's the point. When you have a mind that operates on a different wavelength than most, it can be incredibly difficult to find people who truly get you. Your interests, your thought processes, your way of seeing the world, it can all feel so foreign and inaccessible to those around you, and that can lead to a deep sense of loneliness and disconnection. Psychologist Leda Hollingsworth studied highly gifted individuals and found that those with significantly higher IQs than their peer group often experience profound isolation. The communication gap becomes a chasm. You're not speaking a different language exactly, but you might as well be. On his part, Arthur Schopenhauer observed that talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. It means that your ability to perceive connections others miss is both your gift and your isolation. You're aiming at targets people can't even spot. Here's the breakthrough secret most highly knowledgeable people miss. Not everyone will understand you, and that's okay. Your job isn't to dumb yourself down until you fit. It's to find the rare few who can meet you where you are and cherish those connections when you find them. But here's the twist most people don't see as well. You're not alone. In fact, there are countless other highly intelligent people out there who are grappling with these same challenges. The key is finding ways to connect with them, whether that's through online communities, local meetup groups, or even just one-on-one conversations. When you surround yourself with people who truly understand and appreciate your unique perspective, it can be a game changer. Suddenly, you don't feel so alone in your struggles. In fact, you might even start to see them as a source of strength and camaraderie. So don't be afraid to reach out and make those connections. Your high intelligence may make you feel like an outsider sometimes, but it also gives you the ability to forge deep, meaningful relationships with those who get you. And trust me, my friends, that kind of connection is worth its weight in gold. Reason number 7. You struggle with boredom in relationships. Another interesting way that your high intelligence can feel like a curse is chronic boredom and dissatisfaction in your relationships. Think about it. When you have a mind that's constantly analyzing, questioning, and seeking deeper meaning, it can be incredibly difficult to find partners or friends who can truly keep up. To you, the surface-level conversations and mundane routines that captivate most people just feel, well, boring. But contrary to what some might think, your high intelligence isn't a character flaw, it's a natural gift. The bottom line is learning how to find and cultivate relationships that challenge and stimulate you on a deeper level. That might mean seeking out intellectual peers who share your passions and curiosities, or even exploring more unconventional relationship structures that allow for more autonomy and growth. Whatever path you choose, the important thing is to stay true to yourself. Don't settle for relationships that leave you feeling unfulfilled or understimulated, because when you find the right connections, the ones that truly feed your mind and soul, that's when the curse of your high intelligence starts to feel like the greatest blessing of all.
Reason number 8. You hold yourself to impossible standards. If you're intelligent, you probably expect yourself to excel at everything. First try, no struggle. Because if you're smart, it should come easy, right? Wrong. This is perfectionism, disguised as high standards, and it's a trap. When you hit something that doesn't come naturally, maybe it's social skills, art, relationships, you experience it as failure. That mindset alone can sabotage your thought and proof that you're not actually smart, but an imposter. Research by psychologist Carol Dweck on fixed versus growth mindsets reveals that highly intelligent people often develop fixed mindsets because early success came easily. So when the challenge finally arrives, they interpret struggle as inadequacy rather than growth. The internal dialogue goes, if I were really smart, I wouldn't struggle with this. But here's the truth. Intelligence doesn't exempt you from being human.
You're allowed to be brilliant at some things and mediocre at others. You're allowed to learn slowly. You're allowed to fail. In the words of Carl Rogers, the curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. This means that the impossibly high standards you hold aren't motivating you, they're paralyzing you. True growth starts with self-compassion, not self-criticism. Aside from that, try to lower the bar, because it's not your potential that bears the burden of being exceptionally intelligent. It's just the punishment you inflict on yourself for being imperfect. Final thoughts. Well, my friends, as we draw the curtain on these 8 reasons, let it be born in your mind that intelligence is a tool, not a destiny. Yes, the struggles of highly intelligent people are real. The overthinking, the isolation, the relentless pattern recognition, the boredom, the feeling of being misunderstood, the existential weight, and the crushing perfectionism. But none of these struggles defines you. Your intelligence becomes a curse only when you let it operate without wisdom, without self-compassion, without connection. But paired with the insights from psychology, philosophy, and neuroscience we've explored today, it becomes something else entirely, a gift you can finally learn to steward well. In the comments below, share which struggle made the most sense to you. And if this video helped you feel a little less alone in your own mind, hit that subscribe button. Click the bell so you're notified when we release the next video, and give this video a thumbs up. It helps us reach others who need to hear this message. Thank you for watching. See you next time.